Lot 256 is a Victorian high chair, which is also called the Gawky chair. And we don't know a whole lot about the history of where Miss Hepburn acquired it, but we do know how much it meant to her because she painted it several times. And in fact, one of the best paintings she ever did, which is now in a private collection because it was a gift that she gave to one of her close friends, was actually the cover of McCall's back in the 50s on an article that was done, and it's the only article I know of that was done about Miss Hepburn and her artwork. And you see this particular chair done in 3 different paintings, as I mentioned, the one on the cover of McCall's, one that Miss Hepburn painted of her close friend and assistant for 50 years, Phyllis Wilborn, and another painting she did of her own bedroom in California. This chair traveled with Miss Hepburn. It was with her in California, it was with her in New York, it was with her in Fenwick. So obviously it was a very beloved item. Lot 634, the American oak and brass plant stand, is one of my favorite pieces because whoever did this had a great sense of style, because here it is a plant stand and it almost looks like it's opening up into a petal. And I'll bet you anything that's what appealed to Miss Hepburn, because she bought this back in 1974 with her good friend and ABC correspondent Cynthia McFadden on a trip to New Salem, New York. It appealed to her. Miss Hepburn is known for always having loved nature and flowers. She adored flowers, particularly Queen Anne's lace and certain types of lilies, and brought that plant stand back, and that was with her in Fenwick. I find it amazing in this day and age that there's so many people, especially women, who identify with Katharine Hepburn. And I find it most amazing because here's a woman that passed away last year at 96 years old, who started her career in the 1930s and continued her career through 7 decades. This is why, one of the reasons why she's relevant. Most actresses last as long as their looks last, whereas Miss Hepburn in the 1930s was glamorous, but at the same time negotiated her own contracts. In the 40s and 50s, where most actresses would have retired or started raising families, she took on Shakespeare. And at a time where most actresses would have been resting comfortably at home in their 70s and 80s, she wins her last 2 Oscars. She had a long and varied career. She had a range where she could play anywhere from screwball comedy to huge high costume drama, and excelled at all of it. What I hope people come away with is a sense of Miss Hepburn as a person as well as an actress. Miss Hepburn seems to need no introduction. People know the basic facts of Miss Hepburn's life and her career. But what we hope to show is how truly she loved being Katharine Hepburn, how truly comfortable she was in her own skin, how much she lived life every day and took as much as she could out of it and put as much as she could into it. And you see this in her hobbies. She was not an idle person. She painted, she sculpted, she traveled, she ate, she lived and loved heartily. And we hope people will be able to draw that sense and grace and independent spirit and love of life out of the exhibition.